coming to you from the other side.
It's the Hekate and Ticker Show.
Music, art, and culture to feed your head.
Challenge your perspective and bend your mind. Alright, you guys, welcome back to another Hekate and Ticker podcast.
What's up? Got some sexy people here today.
That we do.
We got Jason Brooks, who is pretty much the brand new badass Jason Voorhees. And we got Naomi, who is a professional makeup artist. Yeah. So
yeah, Jason, you just dropped a new Vengeance movie.
Friday 13th.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so Vengeance, Friday 13th Vengeance came out a few years ago, 2019.
Pass away, alone and grieving from the sound of it.
Sounds like he really loved his kid.
A lot.
He's back.
And it had some of the original cast and crew from the original Friday the 13th movies. C.J. Graham, who played Jason in Part 6, he came back and he plays Jason's father, Elias Voorhees. And we've got Tom McLaughlin, who wrote and directed Part 6, all these people in it. And everybody demanded a sequel. So we made that. And
you know what needs to be done.
they're all back, and this time bigger and better. We got Darcy DeMoss back from Part 6. Richie Ramone from the fucking Ramones.
Yeah.
And Tamara Glenn,
So
Rob
rad.
Mello from Happy Death Day, Paul Taylor, who plays Pinhead in Hellraiser Judgment. The list goes on. We got a lot of amazing people in this one. And we just launched it last week on October 6th. And it's going crazy. The reviews are coming in. And we just saw it today, it's got a 9.1 star rating on IMDb. It's the highest rating of a Friday the 13th film in history.
Whoa, in history?
In history.
That is
Yeah.
pretty
The originals, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The original's got like a 6 or 6.5, and Part 2 6.5. They all hover around the 6, and
That's amazing.
Wow,
9.1.
congratulations.
Thank you. So the reviews, just you go online, look at the reviews. We can't even believe it. The whole
And
team
that's
came
one
together.
week.
That's 1 week.
1 week.
It's only 1 week.
Wow.
And everybody
That's
wants to
incredible.
hate. Yeah, and people want to hate shit. You know, they go online, they see it, they watch it, and everybody wants to hate it. But everyone's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Like, the whoa.
That's really awesome. That's
Wow.
awesome.
Kati and I had the honor of not only being in the film, but we were there at the premiere, and yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're a Friday the 13th film lover, this is the one to go to. Because all those nice Easter eggs, there's a lot of cool moments where I feel like the fans are like, no way.
Yeah. You know, people are
Yeah.
calling it out in the reviews and everything too. They called you out.
They did?
Yeah, the reviews. Go look in the reviews. You'll see, like, I love the guy with Tourette's.
Dude, his
Sweet.
death is amazing. That's absolutely hilarious. My favorite by far.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Fez. But it's out. It's out.
It's out.
And where can people see it?
YouTube, just go watch it for free. We put it up on for
That is
everyone to go watch
so
for
rad.
free. It's up there now, so.
Same with the first one. I feel like, though, if you haven't seen either of them, make sure you see the first Vengeance, just so you have an idea. But the second one does blow the first one out of the water, and just like a personal opinion. It's I really thought it was pretty amazing. And not just because we're in it. It's just, I feel like it's got the nostalgic, but it's also got a modern look to it at the same time. Like, there's some cinematic stuff that you notice is a little more newer, but still keeps the nostalgic.
You're right.
So-
Dude, and Cody Newton, I mean, he knocked it out of the park. It was visually really, really fun to watch. It was
Cody
gorgeous.
Newton's a master at what he does. And the first one, I mean, it was 3 years ago. We didn't know. We've learned a lot since that one.
Right.
Has it already been?
It's been, it's
Yeah.
been 2019.
Holy shit.
It's crazy.
So yeah, we've learned a lot. We've improved. We take what we knew
awesome.
then and what we learned and put it into this one. So
Time flies when you're killing people.
yeah, it does. So of course it should be better than the first one. We hope.
Oh yeah,
And,
it was.
And
Well,
all the
you
cameos
never know.
and the-
Usually sequels, I feel like, go opposite to that. You know,
It does.
Hit or
it's
miss.
difficult to beat the first. You know, a lot of times.
Ace Ventura was better than the first one in my
Yeah.
opinion. So it's rare, but no, you
Empire to Star Wars.
guys. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's even some people are in the reviews are saying, you know, I didn't care for the first one, or it's okay. This one is fucking amazing. It's spectacular.
Well, I feel like for the Vengeance setup, I feel like Vengeance was like the idea, and then I feel like the first one was just trying to get the idea rolling.
Yeah.
So like it was like a project idea to get it going. Obviously it made headway, but I feel like you took it and you like really ran with it.
Yeah.
That's great. And all the people that were involved, you know, you had some music, local music in there, like Wyatt Only in the Wreckage, and a bunch of people, man. Debbie Blackout, whatever. No.
I don't think so. No?
You.
Oh, well, yeah, but
Duh.
I don't count for the whole band, man. They'll
No,
be
Wyatt.
fair you say that.
Well, I mean, Wyatt's name is in the band, but he's not the band. Like, he has some representation. That's what I meant. And Richard Ramon. So, how did you... I think we should start from the beginning real quick, try to speed up and get to the point of how you got the people that you got in Vengeance. So, like, where did it all start for little old Brooks?
Well, when we did the first Vengeance, as we were getting that together, we decided we want to tell the Elias Voorhees story. You know, Jason's father, like, what can we do that's different? The Pamela story's been told, the Jason story, killing campers, it's always there. How can we go further? So we did that. We asked C.J. Graham to play Jason Part 6, would you come back for the Part 6 sequel? Play Jason's father, he did.
That's awesome.
Knocked it out of the park. Tom McLaughlin, he actually, the ending of Part 6 originally was supposed to have an introduction of Jason's father in the graveyard. He never got to film it, the studio said no. So we actually, the beginning of Vengeance is that scene. You can find the storyboards online from Part 6 that Tom was going to do.
Oh, wow.
And we just basically shot that scene as the intro to Vengeance.
Oh,
Wow.
And so we got him, we got Steve Dash, who played Jason Voorhees in Part 2 with the slap on his head.
Yeah.
So he played our sheriff in that movie. Diana Prince, Darcy the Mail Girl from Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In. She was in it. We had some really great people part of it. Harry Manfredini, who did the score for all the Fridays.
Did he do it for this one too?
We used his music. We had some other music as well, but
That's
it was a
amazing.
mix. So, yeah. And then when it came to Part 2, it was great because I've been traveling around to conventions around the country and doing autographs. So I met a lot of really cool other celebrities and actors along the way, and they love Vengeance and they were willing to be a part of it. So, just kind of saying, hey man, I'm doing Vengeance 2. Everyone wants it. Do you want to be in that? And they all jumped at it and said, yeah, I'd love to. So that was the easy part. And so we got...
Really, that's a great cast, man.
It was
That's awesome.
good.
I was wondering how you wrangled that many people for this. So
Yeah, and that was
pretty cool conventions.
That was easy. And we actually, Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, she was supposed to be in it in the scripts. We had her and David Howard Thornton, who everyone knows now because Art the Clown, Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be in it. He was having Richie's role.
Oh, wow.
But he and Felissa were both working on a film together and were unavailable during filming. So then we had to read one of our producers, Peter Anthony. He's like, well, what about Darcy DeMoss, who plays Mickey in Part 6? And so he mentioned that. We called her up, and we told her the story, and she was in. So we had her.
Right on.
Rob Mello from Happy Death Day. He plays Babyface Killer. He was
we
in.
know him.
Yeah, we know him quite well.
Yeah, Paul Taylor, who plays Pinhead in Hellraiser Judgment. He was on board, and then Tamara Glenn from Halloween 5. So she heard, like, we're talking to these people, and I was actually at an airport. We were all together with Laura Park Lincoln from Part 7. We just got done doing a show together, and Tamara Glenn, and we're doing a little live thing together. And Tamara's like, well, why don't you put me in your movie too? And it's like, yeah, let's do it. So we put Tamara in it, and then she called me up. She's like, hey, one of my good friends, Richie Ramon, he's
That is such a bonus.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how the hell did you get Richie?
Yeah, he's like, she
Oh
was
my God.
all Tamara. She's like, yeah, he wants to be in it. He's interested. And I'm like,
That's
she's like,
awesome.
you think you could do something? I'm like, I will do something.
He's so
Holy
cool.
shit. Yeah, and we actually, I went down to Vegas and I talked to Alice Cooper because...
Yeah, I remember when you were talking about that.
Yeah, and he was originally going to play that part. He sounded interested in everything, but his agent was there like, no.
They're just like,
Busy,
no,
we're touring. No.
no.
Yeah, and so like, all
You're
right,
not
I get it, whatever. He's touring, but fine. But it was cool talking to Alice about it. He seemed excited. He talked to me about
You got to
some of
meet
his-
him at least.
Yeah.
Hang out for a minute.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He talked to me
How
about
was
being on
that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about fucking Alice Cooper. Look how good it is.
Yeah, are you kidding me? It was terrible. I hated every second of it.
Yeah.
But you never know, man. Sometimes we get heroes, but like, I'm glad that he was cool.
Yeah.
He was cool, and he shared some stories about being on the Freddy show and stuff, Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street show, and he was interested. So,
That's really cool.
but his agent was like, no. As soon as I wrote, I got back. We spoke 2
hard
weeks
ass.
later, and he's like, yeah, no, sorry, busy. And it's like, I didn't even tell you the dates yet. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Probably
so-
used to playing hardball like that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
sounds
silver lining of that is that Rob Mello, we put Rob Mello in that part, and he freaking killed it. Like,
Yeah.
it was. He was phenomenal, and the chemistry between Tom McLaughlin and Rob Mello,
they really
Yeah.
they stole the show.
I feel like if you go up to Concrete, Washington, you'll find two guys just like that.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Absolutely.
They're everywhere.
So
They did that role so well.
so well.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's how we got Richie Ramone was Tamara Glenn, and talked to him and played him in as David Howard Thornton's role because that opened up, and it was just it was great. I think that the way it landed was perfect. The characters are amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it, and the reviews, everyone's like talking about their favorite characters. Some love Richie and the ticking guy. You know,
Yeah.
it's all great. And Wyatt, like a lot of people love Wyatt. Fuck Todd.
Yeah.
Everyone
he was
loves-
such a piece of shit. It was amazing.
Yeah, everyone loves an asshole in a movie.
And he's the sweetest guy ever, but
Yeah.
he's cool.
That's so cool. Richie Ramone, I remember when we were hanging out around him, like he's a punk legend. So as a musician, you want to ask all these questions that you already know he's had to answer a million times.
Yeah.
So you don't even want to you want to talk to him, but you don't know what to talk about.
Right.
Because you don't want to be like, oh, remember that song you wrote? Oh, what was it like being in that band? So I remember at the end, I told Hekate, I was like, I don't think Richie likes me, because he was very kind of chill and relaxed. And then he surprised us by coming up before we all left and being like, hey man, I want to give you guys my phone number. And we were like, what?
Yeah. He's like, hey, you ever come down to Hollywood? I'll get you guys a drink. Or
I know.
What's that
I
number?
totally thought he did. Because we were a newer generation of rocker people, so maybe he was just like, it's not what it used to be. I didn't know what to think, but he ended up being like,
oh, he was really cool, very
really
humble,
cool.
Yeah.
down to earth dude. I think a big part of that though is, that scene, there were so many people, so many extras, and I think he was probably kind of a bit concerned because who he is, who the hell are you? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
No pictures, autographs, you know what I mean, type of thing.
but he's so cool. He ended up being the coolest.
super cool.
I still have his little autograph.
Yeah.
Well,
And how about this? I'm leaving work one day and I get a text from Richie. And it's like, hey man, I'm in the studio with my band. We just got done recording some shit. It's not master or anything, but I want to get your opinion. What do you think? And he
That's
sends me
so
6
cool.
songs of what he just recorded.
You got to hear some of that before everybody?
before it's released, and I was
that's
like,
rad, man.
this is my life. Richie fucking Ramone just sent me songs that he recorded in the studio casually, and
That
hey,
is
what do you
so
think?
cool.
And if you like any of them, if you want to use them in the movie, and he on set I'm thinking about writing a song. Can you use it in the movie?
That'd be
Yes.
so cool. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
no,
two
no,
songs, two
couldn't,
No,
can't do
we're
that.
not
Sorry,
interested.
we're all
Yeah.
booked, Richie.
Whatever.
We've got bigger, badder people than you.
Yeah, and then he's when he played out here in Seattle, he's like, "Hey man, you come to my show? I'll put you
We
on the
were
guest list."
so upset.
Oh, that was
I
such a bummer. We could make that.
Yeah.
You guys are bitches. Man.
I
That
don't
was,
want to talk about it.
it was
Yeah,
awesome. It was so good.
Because that could have been a great
Yeah.
thing. We could all had a couple band wars things with it maybe, but
Oh, can I swear on this podcast?
Yes.
I don't
Fuck
know.
yeah.
I'll just make sure.
Shit,
I-
bitch, ass.
Harrison, we could cuss, right? I feel like we can. It's a podcast.
I can't speak without
The
swearing,
FCC
so
is
no,
allowed,
that would
so.
fucking work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask us. Let's get to the origins, right, of Jason. How does one become Jason Voorhees?
yeah,
how
that's
the
what I
hell
was trying to ask
did you
earlier,
just-
actually.
How did you just wake up one day and a lightning bolt just struck your penis and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna be fucking Jason Voorhees? How?
Yeah, well, growing up with the name Jason, I was bullied a lot. Especially on Friday the 13th, kids would make fun of
Really?
me. Yeah.
Really?
kids would
As
make
tall
fun of
as
me.
you were?
Really?
Yeah, well, I was a tall,
I figured
skinny,
people think that
lanky
was
kid.
cool.
I was a dork. I was poor. It just wasn't great. In
hear
school
that.
growing up.
Yeah, high
So-
school sucked for us all.
It did. So, and basically, one day in my teens, I avoided the whole Friday the 13th thing because of that. And then one day I went to the library down there in Puyallup, Washington, and I picked up
nice.
Friday the 13th, and I was like, I'm gonna figure out what this Jason thing is. Watched Friday the 13th, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's no Jason Voorhees in this. It's all Pamela Voorhees. There's no Jason.
Yeah.
And so anyway, then the next one I rented was Part 6. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I get this. I love it. There's like comedy, there's humor, there's fun, and there's killing, and it was a great time. So I started liking it. And then I got into a horror phase, and every birthday I'd have, we'd rent 3 VHS tapes with horror movies and have friends over.
Nice.
And my dad would sneak out the window and scare us through the curtains and everything. While we were watching
So cool.
it. But yeah, so I always thought that. And then of course I'm 6'5", 245 pounds, and so I got myself a costume one year and said I'm going to do this thing. showed up at a convention. A haunted house saw me and like, hey, you look really awesome. Will you come be at our haunted house?
Those Nile Nightmares,
Nile
right?
Nightmares
The
down on
first
Lake Terrace.
time I met you, I
I
think.
Yeah.
love that place.
Yeah.
So I went and I showed up there and we did some pictures. I worked their queue line. And then they're like, hey, that was very successful. They come back tomorrow? Sure. And the next day, well, why don't we just make a month of it? So we did. And then from that point, someone reached out. I had a friend at the time who was like, hey, there's a Friday the 13th film being filmed in Idaho. You should talk to them.
You're kind of big and scary.
Yeah, so I reached out to the director and I said, hey man, you know, my name is Jason Brooks, I play Jason Voorhees in this haunted house, I would love to audition. And he said, no, you know, thank you, but no thank you. We got like 89 people here in Idaho who play Jason who are auditioning and we're gonna go with someone local. Fuck.
Yeah.
So then I got hung up and I kind of paced around the apartment and I asked my son, Asher at the time, I was like, hey, I'm gonna put the costume on. Will you do some video of me? He's like, sure. So I just did some pantomime of, as Jason with the costume on, and I did that and I sent it to him. I said, hey, I know you said no, but I just want to show you this. And then the director called me back a couple days later and said, all right, we're listening. Here's some script sides. Go act that out, send it back. And so I looked at the script. It was basically like Jason's in the street, and a car's coming up, and it swerves around him, and he turns and walks towards the lake. Seems simple.
Right.
Well, no one in my family drove at the time, so, except for me, but I'm wearing the costume. So we went out in the parking lot and we were just gonna pretend.
Just Jason's cruising down the road.
Exactly. We're out in the parking lot of the apartment complex and everything. We're filming it, and we have it on the tripod, and basically one of our neighbors came out and left. And so we're like, oh shit, move the tripod, and we moved it back. And I was like, wait, start rolling. So he started rolling.
The car.
So I stood in front of the car had to swerve around me, and then I turned and walked away. And
person drove away like, what the fuck?
Exactly. They don't know, and I've mentioned this on the podcast. They have no idea. I've talked about them all the time. So, but I sent that into them, and then a couple days later, Jeremy Brown, the director, and Dustin Montrez and everyone, they came in and they were like, they sent me a video and congratulated me because they chose me. They're like, that was awesome. Like, out of all these people, they're like, out of all these people who auditioned, you're the first one that had that right size, the height, the movements. We didn't have to direct you. We tried to direct other people to move this way, that way. You just did it naturally, so you got the part.
Nice.
And they didn't want you.
And they didn't want me.
They didn't want you. What a mistake
they
could have made.
You wouldn't be the actor and the director and the highest rating Friday 13th if you had not done that.
That's true.
That's pretty rad.
All your dreams, kids.
I got one more question before we wrap it up. It's a matter if you're okay with us asking it. In the scene, there's a penis scene somewhere.
I knew it.
I gotta make it a little edgy before we quit, okay?
All right.
So I'm not gonna say the details, but we talked a lot about like where that penis may go, and like maybe in a museum and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that that's like an actual cast of your penis. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah.
And breaking news.
Jason's penis.
My penis in the film.
So keep an eye out for that large thing. But I brought it up because it's going to be in a museum, maybe, or it's talked about.
Yeah. We're talking about it. Maybe the museum would want. We'll see.
That is the coolest thing ever. I just want to say that right now. That's rad.
And I was handling that thing drunk for hours.
Yeah. You were. That you were.
Yeah, he was like, oh, check it out.
He was like, I didn't touch Jason's penis. We were like, you wouldn't let anyone else touch his penis. You were like, this is my penis now.
It's mine. You're like, here, give that back. No. This guy.
On that note, thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure tell everybody where they can find it, where they can support all.
You said YouTube, right?
All that stuff.
Yeah, so on YouTube, Friday the 13th, Vengeance 2 Bloodlines. Real Fiction Studios is the channel, and go check it out for free. And all the information's there. You can get in touch with us and whatever you want. So.
And you definitely should do it. You won't be disappointed. It's a great film. It's
phenomenal.
It is, especially knowing a little bit more of the backstory of like Jason coming up the way he did, and like here he is.
Yeah, he directed it. He acted in it. Him and Naomi both did all the special effects makeup in it.
Yeah.
I remember holding.
They made the penis.
I remember holding a head. Yeah. I remember holding a head at one point of one of the people in the movie, and I remember my brain as I'm holding it. I can't explain it, but I almost thought it was real.
Yeah.
My weird survival.
It looks so real.
I remember having this moment where, like, I'm not saying my body was going through shock, but I remember, like, just, like, analyzing the moment, and my body was, like, trying to register it, like, whoa.
You were analyzing it?
Analyzing it.
Yeah.
I did that.
I also was
So,
analyzing this head.
The effects are phenomenal. I think you guys not only did all that great stuff, but I think what really did it was how high quality those are.
Absolutely.
A lot of the killing scenes, you're just like, wow, that looks very real. And
gore is
being on
high.
set and holding the things in your hands and like actually
Yeah,
feeling like they were real.
unbelievable.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons why you guys definitely are up there. You definitely deserve the highest
Absolutely.
rating of
Thank you.
Friday the 13th.
Bring your barf bag. Yeah, a lot of people saying it's the most real effects. It's amazing. There are a lot of praise for the effects team, so
Yeah.
good job. Good
Yeah.
job, everyone. And
Both
Yeah,
of you.
it was
Good job.
everyone, yeah, big, awesome team.
On that
Yeah.
note, well, cheers to you.
Yeah.
And
To Naomi and Jason, thank you guys so much.
it's another great episode of Hekate and Tickers Podcast. We will see you next time.
Check out Vengeance on YouTube.
And with another great night here on the other side.
We thank you, and we will see you next time.
Until then, stay thirsty, my friends.